Dr. Rockefeller is the Director of Special Projects and Academic Advisor at the University of California, Irvine. He has a PhD in psychology from Saybrook University, and in San Francisco he is also an assistant professor there. Dr. Rockefeller is the author of several books, and he has served as the editor of the California Psychologist. He was formerly the Director of Education for the Entertainment Industries Council, which I think people would know as Prism Awards, where he consulted with the top entertainment organizations, including ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and Warner Brothers, Paramount, and DreamWorks, on the accurate depiction of mental health issues and addiction. This workshop will provide an exploration of how mental health issues are portrayed in American media and the impact this has on our culture. Please welcome Dr. Rockefeller.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. I'm really pleased to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. How many of you all watch movies or go to watch television? Do you think that the things that you see in media actually have an impact on you or your perceptions about things? A couple of years ago, a study was done by a foundation, the Kaiser Foundation, and they looked at where do people get their health information from. Doctors were number 7.
Wow.
Doctors were number 7 where people get their health information from. Number 1, the internet. How many of you, I got an acre of pain, I go to the internet and I try to put in my symptoms, okay? Number 2, family. Number 3, friends. You know what was number 4? Media. To say that media has a strong presence in our society is certainly an understatement. So I'm Kerwin Rockefeller, and my PhD is in psychology, and I've had a very circuitous route in my career. And I know that one of your themes or topics today is about career aspirations in psychology. What do you do with a degree in psychology? And there are many different options there. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I did and sort of my path, because I have had a very unusual and circuitous path in psychology. So first of all, you're all psychology majors. Not everybody here, but interest in psychology. Those of you who are psych majors, do you want to be clinicians, researchers, writers? I don't know. A lot of other things there. I was an undergraduate major in speech communications and art history. That was a long time ago. And I did that because I'm profoundly hearing impaired, and I learned by studying the history of art how people communicated non-verbally and through images and symbolism throughout the culture, throughout the whole of human civilization. And I teach in a mind-body program right now, a doctoral program in San Francisco. And one of my areas of expertise is guided imagery, much like meditation and things of that nature. We all have an internal image in our head. We all have an image, or we call them a script, a schema in psychology, about how we view ourselves and how we view the world. Well, it is undoubtedly true that people gravitate towards media, movies and television, because they are so ubiquitous. And again, the research is fairly clear that it can oftentimes come before doctors and healthcare people in assessing and accessing mental health, particularly mental health issues. So I am here today to tell you a little bit about a project that I have been working on. I am a media psychology consultant with the Entertainment Industries Council. And EIC is a nonprofit organization based in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. that was formed in 1983. And it was formed by members of the entertainment industry for the entertainment industry. It is not a watchdog. It is not shaking fingers at anybody's fault. But there is always an interesting conversation in our society about, does violence on TV cause violent behavior? What about the shooters that we hear about, and the films or the games that they watch? What is the connection? And that is a hotly debated topic. I'm not here to discuss that today, but I do want to tell you about this project that I work on, which is called Team Up. And Team Up stands for Tools for Entertainment and Media. Now, the presentation I'm going to give to you today is pretty much a presentation that I give for the entertainment industry and for film students, journalism students, and also students involved in social media. And the goal for this entire project, Team Up, is looking at you, the next generation of people that are coming up, and will be telling stories. We'll be working in a clinical capacity to, number one, take home point, increase your awareness about how people react to images, stories, and characters that they see in popular media. So this particular program, again, when I work with screenwriters, directors, writers, producers, actors, I have yet to meet anybody who doesn't want their creative work to be accurate and plausible. And so what I try to do is translate the information that's coming from the research community to the entertainment and creative community. That also includes advertising, as I said before, social media, about accurate depictions here. And I like this first quote here by my friend Pamela. Stories are how we think. We all have a narrative. We call it narrative also in psychology. Stories are how we think. They're how we make meaning of life. The stories, the narratives. And so we call them schemas. They can also be seen as scripts, cognitive maps, mental pictures or metaphors in which we then see ourselves and how we see life. So stories are how we understand our place in the world. And when I work with creative community individuals, we're tapping into the psychology of characters. And I have yet to meet anyone who doesn't want their characters or their stories or their journalistic story to be accurate. There is, unfortunately, still way too much inaccuracy in the media about mental health issues. So when we explore mental health issues, we're able to offer a variety of people an opportunity to really delve into the complex understandings of human beings. Human beings, we're very complex. We tend to label people of this or of that, and one of the impetus behind this particular program is to not label people, but yet to create authentic stories and compelling characters that influence and encourage those who seek help. So I want to show you, I'm going to be having some video clips embedded into this presentation, because no one wants to listen to the lecture for an hour, and I get tired of lecturing for an hour. But I want to show you some video clips of some really excellent, compelling stories and depictions of characters that are living with mental illness. And I also like to encourage a dialogue for us today. What do you see in these clips? What do you see in these clips? What are you learning? Have you seen these clips before? And again, because media is so prevalent in our society, what comes up for you? So here's the first series of clip file, and I have several clips in here. First of all, we're going to start with Brandon Cooper and Silver Linings Playbook. Let me know if you can hear it.
Back too far, trying to even up. I didn't tell him to do that. I said, just cut it the way you cut it.
Frame of mind, I think anything's possible. We so often get caught in this state of negativity, and it's poison like nothing else.
Technically, you can take him out against our recommendation, but you assume a lot of liability in the eyes of the court, and it's just getting used to the routine here.
I don't want him to get used to the routine here. 8 months is already long enough.
Tattooed with a story of war, regret, yet pride. My knuckles military vet to show the world the sacrifice I made for them, to show them I would have given my life for them. I have broken rifles that are so much more than pictures to me. They represent my guilt, my disenchantment for the Army, and most of all, that I wish to never have my hands on any trigger or gun that would claim the life of another human being.
Has Lewis been functional? Does he go to work, wash, or something?
So far.
Has he had any violent episodes?
Oh, no. No, never. He's a sweetheart. He never even raises his voice.
Okay. We gotta fix him. Can you fix him?
I don't know, but I don't believe he's psychotic or schizophrenic. I don't think this is caused by genes or faulty wiring in the brain.
So then what the hell is going on then?
He appears to have a delusion.
A delusion? What the hell is he doing with a delusion, for Christ's sake?
That's what we have to find out.
The whole world was changing around him, and that was all he did. Music.
What are some things that you picked up from watching those clips there? Impacts, emotional feelings, things that you might have noticed there. Anything really pop out to you before I give you mine? Come on, don't be shy.
Depression.
Depression, okay. All right, yeah. What else?
How the brother, or I guess whoever's related to him in the Lars video, how he actually was just, well, can let's fix him, there's something wrong with him. I don't like how people take it or think it's just that.
So there are a couple of things that I want to point out to you in terms of accurate depiction in all of these little clips here. Spitting out the pill. That happens frequently. People also frequently do not maintain their medication regimen. That's very particularly accurate there. And as people in psychology, we just need to be aware of that. How's the medication going? You know, are you taking the medication? Are you feeling, you know, and also with medication, I want to be clear, it's not the end all and the be all, or the be all and the end all. It's a tool. It's one of many tools that we use for people that we are working with who have some psychological issues there. But spitting out the pill is very, very common of not having a medication compliance. How about the liability issue? When the doctor says, we're taking him out, it's going to be a liability issue there. So that brings in the whole legal courts as you know, the legal issues and the court system as well. PSTD, with a young woman coming back from war from Afghanistan. PSTD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, is very real for a variety of people there. And interesting, the imagery, the tattoos that she had there with the broken gun, and how she has that on her hands. All right, have we seen that yet? Okay, so these are some things that I pick out. In the Lars and the real world, we've got to fix them. We have to fix society and people in psychology. We need to fix people who have something wrong with them. Is something wrong? No. We don't have to fix them. We have to learn to live with mental challenges and mental health issues. You know, everybody's got something, to kind of use a phrase there. But the idea of someone's broken and we have to fix them. The causes of where does some of this come from? In The Soloist, that was supposed to be a young Jamie Foxx. And childhood influences. What does he see as a young child? He sees a burning car. You know, people are being killed, and so the effect that that has on him. Anything else that comes up to your way of thinking as you look at some of these books, which we feel with the Entertainment Industry Council are superb examples of accurate depictions of mental health issues? Thoughts? Reflections? Yes, sir, please.
With lady one, the hospital setting, just the idea of trying to get better in such a drab, dead kind of place is not normally conducive of a healthy environment.
It's true. It's true. People do better at home. You know, people do better in their own familiar surroundings. But again, this had also, if you don't know the film, has some liability issues that, you know, put him into a treatment center. So, anything else? So to put this concept into, yes, sir.
How you said you had to learn to live with them. I went to the place called The Village.
Right.
That reminded me when you talked about how you don't really look at them as a patient, you just learn to accept them, you know.
Yeah. And I think that's really important, but these are people. We're all people, you know, and people all deserve respect, and they deserve to be treated with respect as well. I want to put this into context a little bit, because there are a lot of barriers to seeking treatment. And just to put this in context for your community, your age group here, college students, 1 out of 4 experience some sort of mental illness. 30% of college students feeling so depressed that they're unable to function. I know, because I work in an academic environment, the stress that you guys are under and the things that you have to put up with. Half of people feeling overwhelming anxiety, and 64% of students who need help don't seek help. We also see that in the general population as well. So stigma and discrimination, you know, really prevent us from talking about mental health. It's so interesting to me as well that, you know, we can talk about a physical limit, oh my back, you know, and I'm taking medication for diabetes there. But when we talk about mental health issues, there is still a lot, unfortunately, of stigma and discrimination about even talking about it. You know, we also see, when do we normally hear about, in the general media, when do we normally hear that about someone who has a mental illness or challenge?
After they graduate college, become president. Oh, no, sorry. Normally when they do the most horrible, horrific things.
Yeah, when we hear about the shootings, or we hear about the shootings, or we hear about, God forbid, the stabbings there. And that also is giving some misperceptions to the general public, because we know that people living with mental illness are responsible for no more than 5% of violent acts in America. And the people who are living with mental illness are more often the victims, not the perpetrators. So we have still a lot of stigma and discrimination in our society. This particular, yes, you know, many people who die by suicide have a diagnosis of mental illness. But again, the most important point on this particular slide is early intervention helps and works. It does help and it does work. Now, when I work with the creative community, this is a chance for screenwriters and actors, writers, directors to really do some personal exploration on their own to create, you know, believable characters there. And to be able to depict people as living every day and working and having relationships, you know, and having social and family lives as well. So also in that clip, you know, that guy was saying, well, what causes it? Well, how did he get a delusion? Where did this come from? And I find that there's still some misperceptions, and this is a very basic way to explain by using the brain and the mind, by using a computer analogy here. That we can look at physical hardware, neurological software, or environmental challenges or errors. And I like to, and when we're working with patients in a, you know, a residential setting, it's probably all 3 of these to some sort of a degree. But I think it's helpful for understanding what's going on here, because as the doctor said, you know, well, we're here to find out. We need to know where that's coming from. That's a very crucial message. We don't know, and that's what we have to find out. Mental illness, of course, covers a wide variety of conditions: anxiety, mood, psychotic, eating, personality disorders, a lot of things. Next clip, I want to go back to, this is from a documentary, it's called Coaster Girl. Academy Award nominated documentary, and I want to go back to this young lady.
When I first got home from Iraq, I was only 20, and I knew that there was something wrong. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I had already had panic attacks while I was in Iraq, and when I got home, they continued. I continued to have massive anxiety. It was so debilitating, like your heart races and you think that the whole world is closing in on you, and you get this like intense feeling of dread about your whole body, and afterwards it feels like you ran a marathon.
When she went to Philadelphia to see the new, civilian shrink to get reevaluated for her post-traumatic stress, and when she started seeing this guy, and she had to relive a lot of things that she hasn't thought about since she's been over there.
Oh, that's a problem.
Pain.
Yeah, but I can take it.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's enough for today.
What are you doing? I looked in here, but this is all your shit up here for your sewing and everything. Did you put it up here?
Don't go in my study.
Yeah, not now. Would you put it in here? Makes no sense for you to put it in here.
Patty, what are you doing?
He's got all his Eagles videos. We're in one video of my wedding. Is it here?
Patty?
It's probably in the attic.
Are you going in my study?
Feels to me like you want to hide my wedding video.
Think I can't handle it?
Please stop yelling.
I'm not yelling, Mom. I'm just frustrated because I should have my fucking wedding video. I looked over there. I already looked over there. I'm not calming down. I don't give a fuck. Look here. I'm not calming down. Anybody can wake up. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it. Let the whole neighborhood wake up. I don't care.
But you have to have a strategy. I told you earlier. You need to recognize these feelings coming to you. Otherwise, you will be sent back to boarding. So when you get these feelings, you need to get to a quieter place with peace with yourself, however you can.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done.
You have to do it. You have no choice. Excelsior.
Half an hour's all it takes.
Half an hour.
Nathaniel.
I'm not always so sure I know what's going on, and it's so frightening, and differentiating certain things, keeping things separated.
no hiding. Whiteness. Turn you white. Whiteness. No hiding. Whiteness. Whiteness.
Well, it's reflections of those particular clips there. What's popping out to you? Anything? You see any themes? Why we put those clips together there?
Anxiety.
Anxiety, right. Yes, good. And the feelings of feeling enclosed in. What I like, there are several things I like about this series of clips. Easier said than done. When he says that, it's easier, you know what, it's easier said than done. But then the therapist said that you have to find that right place, you have to go, and there are tools and techniques to do that. Jamie Foxx, something pushed him, something triggered him, and he had to go find his special place. Maybe not the most effective way to do it, but he's trying to do it. Puts his hand up on, I don't know what's going on. And that confusion which contributes to the anxiety as well. And the young girl, Robin, when she says, I've been having these feelings, for a long time, and I remember when I was 20. Mental illness can start very early. Any other thoughts, reflections?
I like how they actually really did kind of show the public. It's really good picture of just what really a mental health issue patient does go through. First, that's how they feel. So they're not messing around. They're not kidding around with what they say. And having it in the media to be seen, it actually kind of validates it, which is great because then everybody just assumes you're crazy.
Right. And how about when the doctor touches Ryan Gosling? Here's okay. Oh, no, okay. And so, for those of you who don't know that film, he gets a blow-up doll. And the blow-up doll becomes his girlfriend. And he takes her everywhere. People help, people react to the blow-up doll. Any other thoughts about these clips here, which we feel, again, and he obviously are very accurate and compelling, because they help to reduce stigma and discrimination, because we can have a sense of what is going on with people. Effects of stigma and discrimination, isolation from friends and family. Ryan Gosling is isolating himself by going to a very quiet place. That's okay, but he's still isolating himself. And we're showing in these clips, one of the things I want to point out, we're showing in these clips here a progression as well. That's why I've chosen them in various states. And people may not seek help because of stigma, fear, stereotypes, and a variety of different things. Here's another clip on Flowers in the Real World. Sorry, was that a question?
I would like to take the opportunity to welcome all of our new visitors to our church estate. Bianca, it's good to see you. Morris, God bless. God bless. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome in here.
These are for you, Bianca. Thank you.
Okay, this is my friend, Mrs. Gruner.
She's a darling.
Our real estate will last forever, isn't that neat?
No.
Ain't got nothing to talk about at all. Miss Parker! Oh God, oh God. Yes! My lucky day! Look at you working on a Sunday. How are you? Hey, what are you doing here? I just came by to say hi, like I'm ready to come back to work. You shouldn't be here. I'll work full-time, half-time. I'll sub, I'll work history, whatever you want. Hey, let me give you a hand. I'm sorry, I'm being rude. I got it. Let me ask you something. Let me just ask you something. Does Nikki still work here?
No, I can't tell you that. But John Culpepper is still here.
Why would you tell me that? You know he broke up my marriage. Well, you being a troublemaker?
You look good. Did you lose a lot of weight?
I did, yeah, I did. I'm better. Really, you're better now. Okay, I'm better. I feel good. I feel so good. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. Look how clear they are.
I'm not complaining anyone. I'm a positive guy, okay? You just have to give it some time.
Yes.
You know, when I'm down, people look it over, it'll be all good.
Yes, it will be. I'm gonna take that as a silver development, Nancy. The silver development, that's a silver lining.
Good luck.
We had some life, didn't we?
It's about this series of clips. What pops out at you?
How their peers.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me?
How their peers act around them and how they look at them in a certain way.
How other people look at
Yeah.
people who are living with a mental illness. Yes, sir.
Just to add on to what she's saying, they're kind of like portrayed as freaks, you know?
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah.
Like the first film, with the doll, like the way the lady walked up and, you know, she kind of gave like this, like that's freaky to her, you know, it's not normal to her. So she just kind of looked.
But you know what I find very interesting about this series, this collection of clips here is that family, community, peers are all part of someone's life who are living and living with a mental illness or mental challenge. It's not so isolated. I mean, it affects other people as well. And I think it's very important. And one of the reasons why I like this series of clips here is it shows that other people are affected and that other people can be a part of the recovery process as well. I mean, I kind of like when she brings flowers to, you know, to the blow-up doll.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
And I have a little backstory in my own head that older woman has known him since he was a child. That's just my own backstory there. And so I think it's very touching that she's trying to say, I don't understand this, but I'm going to try and help a little bit. I just think it's very meaningful when she gives him, or when he gives the role play. Yes, ma'am.
And I like that she's not justifying his actions.
No.
In the way, in her language, is when he offers, oh, do you like this flower? Do you like her? And telling, oh, this is her name. And she says, oh, well, she's lovely.
And you know what I also get there is the actor Ryan Gosling, his face and how his demeanor changes because he's realized someone's not putting him down, telling him he's stupid, we have to fix you, you know. He's like, it's allowing him, her act of kindness allows him to open up just a little bit more there. So family, community, co-workers, we have some life here. So it really is about how people react. And the main theme, again, this selection of clips here is the community involvement, community need, peers, co-workers, et cetera, et cetera. When we work with people in the entertainment industry, we always remind them that a mental health condition doesn't define who a person is. Again, this whole thing about labels, that it is something that someone is living with, and they're not schizophrenic. they have been diagnosed with schizophrenia. They're not bipolar, they have been diagnosed. So that's a very crucial distinction also, that people are not their disease. That the disease is something that has been diagnosed. Yes, sir, please.
But it's something that with other diagnoses hasn't been labeled that way.
Correct.
For many years, doctors said you're bipolar.
Yeah.
You know, you have depression, this is your medication, this is your life now, deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, with other diagnosis, cancer, hey, guess what? There's
Yes.
a slim chance, but you could get it better, you can have a full life again.
Right.
That wasn't the same way.
Right.
So people had to.
And you know what? We are making progress. We're not where we need to be, where those of us in psychology would like to see society be, but we are making some progress there. And, you know, getting back to that theme that we first talked about briefly at the beginning of this whole seminar here was, you know, careers in mental health, careers in psychology. There's all sorts of careers in psychology where you're not a clinician. There's research, there's education, there's working in the private sector, the public sector there. So one of the I guess the big take-home point that I have for you in this seminar today is that there are a lot of options and a lot of choices that you can go into. And this is something that we are trying to foster as well. The person is not the illness. Again, we're making some headway there. We have a long way to go. The person is not the illness. We always ask our media, our journalism people particularly, to really avoid slang, on nuts, acting deranged. And it's funny because, you know, humor can really be an effective tool to help people sort of lighten up. I think that, you know, her taking the flowers over was a little bit humorous as well. She's willing to enter into his domain, his paradigm. And that's another kind of thing I want to bring in, is that when we're working in this area, we try to, as best we can, enter into the domain of lived experience to see what's going on. Yes, sir.
Bringing up media, during Charlie Sheen's little moment in glory out there, Channel 11 out here, one of the stations I was watching, would bring in psychiatrists, psychologists that never interviewed him, never even talked to him.
Exactly.
But they would diagnose him on the screen.
I have a real issue with that.
And so that, once again, leads to this false perception. Oh, again, the doctor.
Oftentimes when I give this presentation, I say, okay, well, what's the diagnosis there? And I say, I cannot give you that diagnosis. First of all, it's a movie. I don't know all that other stuff there. But clinicians who are working with them can give a very clear diagnosis. Here's kind of the paradox. Here's the paradox, I think. There is power in naming something. There's power. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Because empowerment, naming something, sort of gives it a little bit of emotional distance there. Well, okay, it's not me, it's something that I have, and this is how I can approach it and work with my therapist or medication to address this thing, that it's not me as a bad person. Now, the paradox is we tend to go into labels, and there's that very fine line there. So again, here we go into character diagnosis. So what we encourage people to create a community is to, to accurately encourage accurate diagnosis and to seek professional help. Again, that's one thing that keeps coming back to me is that so many people are afraid to seek help because of the stigma and the discrimination. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just have a comment about that. My son was 12, he's 17 now, but I raised him as a single mom, and for me, I believe that if a child is being raised by a single parent, they need to see a counselor, they need to see a psychologist or whatnot, because there's something missing. There's a huge component missing, either the father figure or the mother figure. Right. And when I first told him, I'm going to take him to Cal State Long Beach, because they had the psychology there that you can actually go and I take it to, and he said, no, I mean, I told my friends, and they said that only crazy people see that. Like, no, I can't, because I'm not crazy. Am I crazy? I'm not crazy, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not that. So I kind of had to re-explain it to him. And after going for about 6-7 months, he actually started promoting it to his school, at his school, to his classmates. He's like, well, if you have a single mom or a dad over, you need to see one, because they're like your friend. They totally let you talk, and then they don't tell your mom or your dad. So it's the children at such a young age already has an image of mental health.
And here we go back to the mental, I said everybody has an image. We have an image in our own minds about ourselves. We project an image to the world, and so many of us are, I guess it's human nature. We are affected by the images that we see. It's called advertising. there's a whole other career about psychographics and advertising. Yes, ma'am, please.
Maybe also the power of knowledge. Maybe too much of it can be bad because, like you have mentioned in the beginning, you'll look it up on the phone, on your, you Google everything, and then you get all these things that could be wrong with you. You're like, I have everything.
Right.
You have everything.
And that's the danger in going to the internet. Oh, I've got it all. When I look at the symptoms there, I go, oh, I've got everything of this. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just very conscious of our time limitations today, so I am barreling through this. I hope you do apologize for that. I want to get to some of the last clips here. And then I want to open it up for questions before we dismiss.
They're here. Call Dr. Berman.
You see, it's very, very extraordinary. It's even more than anything I bet.
I'm sorry, you'll have to wait out here.
Hello? Hello?
Bars.
Uh-huh.
Bars.
Yeah.
What?
Bianca's very sick.
No, she's not. She's not. Come on, she's not sick. She's not. Lars?
She's dying.
But
Come on.
We're gonna keep her here till she's stable, but she wants to go home with Lars tonight.
Can I see her?
Sure.
Now I'm gonna bring up Robin Murray.
First time in heels, but last time I hope. I'm not kidding. I never thought that I could take some of the experiences that I had being in Iraq and doing the job that I did and turning them into something positive. Not only something positive, but I really didn't think anybody would care what I had to say. I brought some artwork today, and nothing pleases me more than people are here to see my very own spin on combat paper. But yeah, I'm the only veteran in the room that could have made that mold. I know, for better or for worse.
thoughts and reflections about this series of things?
It was so touching.
What do you come away with from all of this? What I tried to do in a very short amount of time is show you a series of vignettes that show individuals' lives as on their road to recovery. And that road to recovery can have some ups and some downs. There are a variety of factors included in that: therapy, community support, family, friends, it is a spectrum. It is a continuation spectrum here. And so we see, the importance of, taking something and trying to make something else out of it. There's a body of knowledge going on right now, taking PTSD in particular and using it as self-growth. What I have gone through, and I'll listen to a period where I can learn and grow from it. And I find that very exciting. The main thing that I come away with this last series, of course, is a human emotion that's called hope. Hope. And I found when I have worked with a variety of clients, that when all hope is gone, what do we have left? Not much. No, there isn't much. And so we all deserve hope. We all deserve respect. We all deserve, tomorrow will be better. Okay, maybe today wasn't so great, but tomorrow will be better. So that's just my takeaway. Any thoughts or perceptions that you have? So again, why don't we turn the lights on here now? I did it in the time allotted period there, and again, I want to thank you for having me here. I ran through a lot of that quickly, but I want to leave you with a couple of final thoughts. Again, the Entertainment Industries Council is a nonprofit organization that works in Los Angeles and also in the office in Washington, D.C. I have done a variety of trainings for all the studios, all the production studios, networks, actor to picture, we call Generation Next, which is you, the next generation of therapists, the next generation of educators, next generation of all sorts of things there, and that we offer tools for the entertainment and media. Our partners are CalMesha, I'm sure you've all heard of CalMesha here, and a variety of mind members, and also Active Mind. We work very closely with Active Mind. And here is our website, in case anybody wants further information. Questions that you might have, and it can be related to this topic or totally off. Please, yes, sir.
What do you feel about people like Rockefeller?
How much time do we have?
I found a brother. Thank you. Now, please tell me what you think
I have a
about
love-hate relationship with him. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with him. Also, how many of you remember the book The Secret that came out a couple of years ago? Oh, I just imagine it was going to pop into my life. No, that's magical thinking as opposed to using something else as a cognitive behavioral approach to understand the value and why is this embedded with so much meaning for me. I have a love-hate relationship. First of all, you know what? It's good to see stuff out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of crap out there. It's good to see some stuff. It helps people know that I can reach out and get some help. Dr. Phil's not a licensed psychologist. He's an educator, but he's got a personality and he's got a pizzazz and he's, marketable there. So that's the unfortunate thing is that you cannot give psychological information on television and radio and social media without having the proper training. That's my snapshot.
I didn't know that he was even a psychologist.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know he was actually even certified to do what he's doing. It's more just like a.
When you do get to the entertainment industry, it's called the entertainment industry for a reason. It's not called the documentary industry. It's called the entertainment industry. It's ratings, ratings get sponsors, and it's interesting because I remember a couple of years ago when I was doing a lot of training in the industry there, and we did find that a lot of people called into stations and said, that episode on ER? That Grey's Anatomy episode 4, did I really get a lot out of that? And I've worked with writers who say the stories that they hear about people seeing something on Grey's Anatomy or any of the other shows there, about people going to their doctors and getting a diagnosis. And, that's amazing to me. Well, it's a double-edged sword. It's really amazing to me. And I've worked with writers who wrote those stories as well. And that's very gratifying, but you have to sift through the material that's out there. It's difficult. But again, if you want to watch a documentary, watch Poster Girl. That's really dynamic there. But in fiction, Silver Linings Playbook, Lars and the Real Girl, I think they do some really good job. You have to look for it. That's a very short answer to a very complex topic. But it's it's true. I mean, people watch Dr. Oz and they get information. Now the desire is go to your doctor. Now that you say, well, instead of going to the internet. Unfortunately, so many of us do. Questions, thoughts, future careers in psychology? Again, mine has been a very circuitous route.
I like how it's going, like the way it's actually the media, how EIC is there to make sure that the media is showing the proper way of it.
And we have an award show called the Prism Awards, and we're now into our 18th year of the Prism Awards, and we're having that at the end of the year. I guess my main take-home point for you is to be aware. Be aware of what you're seeing, be aware of what you're watching, and be aware of the source, be aware of where this is coming from. Take action to get clarity. Take action for treatment modalities, reach out. Again, I guess my big take-home point is it's okay to talk about this. It's okay to talk about this, and I would encourage you and your clients or budding clients or future clients, it's okay to talk. We used to have that. Well, thank you so very much for having me today. I appreciate it.